like we say, keep our minds and our mouths and our hearts right, Father, as we conduct that business. Again, just thank you for everything you do for us, and we'll be sure to praise you for that. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Here. Roll call, please, Shelley.
Yes, sir. Curtis Snell.
Here.
Rex Jordan. Bill England.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Pat Baker. Harley Buzzard.
There's cows in the background when they call.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
John Garvin. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Dick Lay. Denise Taylor.
Here.
David Thornton.
Honey.
Victoria Vasquez.
Honey.
David Washington.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
John Masters. We do have a quorum.
Okay, moving on down, need approval of the February 16th
So
meeting.
moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on down to reports, management resources, Bruce Davis.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Glad we can make it. I apologize for the air conditioning. The new add-on, we had to replace the new air conditioning units, and so they took the old ones out, put the new ones in, and they charged them Friday. It just hasn't caught up with us yet. So, Joe, we apologize for the Old Spice smell or whatever we might have.
I love Old
But we'll try to
Spice.
make this short and sweet, okay?
It's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went from Old Spice to something.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Blue Walls.
Oh, on the other part of my report, if you look at our pictures that we put in our report, Mr. Thornton has got quite a horse barn at Salisaw Creek Park. I don't know if y'all got that, but this is quite a project that we have going on down there. We're very proud of it, and the GV and the DeLonghi shop has done an outstanding job. So if you get a chance to go down there and look these new facilities over, you'll be pleased. They also have a nice camping area, place for RV and boat ramp, so it's quite the place. Also, if you'll notice the outpost, I toured that today. It had a soft opening Friday. If you haven't been over yet, you need to go look at that. Quite the building. The last picture has a picture of this end of the complex and how that is progressing along. So with that, I'll entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions for Bruce? Yes, ma'am.
When is the outpost supposed to open?
Dave, that's a good thing.
They're going to schedule, it's open right now.
Oh, it is.
Horse barn.
Yes, we were in there at lunchtime today, but I think they're going to have a big grand opening sometime soon. I don't know, Curtis, can I make another announcement before I forget it?
Sure.
The grand opening of the J Clinic, did Connie announce that?
No,
She did not.
That will be April the 1st.
Okay.
April the 1st, put that on your calendars.
Don't do this.
I think we got that on our
I think we did.
messages over the time,
Okay.
but thank you anyway.
Okay.
Bruce, how much is the new outpost going to be different as far as the services and maybe the
But
fast
Joe, I'm
food?
gonna say it's probably 4 times as big. They have, they had yeast rolls in there earlier, rising in the oven. So, they were cooking it. It didn't smell like fry bread, but, it was a good thought. It has, vending machines with, ice cream and all the essentials. You can go in there and actually find you something to eat without stepping over each other.
Wow.
So it's quite the place. Then they'll have the CNG gas, the diesel, the gasoline, but that's not ready yet. But it will be open real soon.
Good.
Any more questions for Bruce? Good report, Bruce.
Thank you.
Moving on down to real estate services, Ginger Reeves.
Good afternoon. You have a copy of my report. If you have any questions, I will be happy to address them.
Any questions for Ginger? Yes, sir.
Hey, Ginger, have a favor,
Sure.
okay? The transfer of lands from the state to the tribe, and the whole thing is for impact aid purposes for schools. is there any way that, can you research or look into state legislation that keeps a state from transferring land to a tribe and get that for us? I don't know who to contact or how it's written up, but as it's written right now, a state can't transfer land to a tribe.
I will look that up. I have my impact aid guy with me today, just by chance.
Really?
But I don't know that the impact aid certifications that we do has any bearing on what you had requested. So we will look that up and we'll get back with you. Sure.
Yeah, I visited with Secretary of State Benj last week on it, and asked him to look into it, but I think they got a lot going on.
We'll look into that then. Sure.
Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, if you could give us a report on that next month or something.
Okay, we'll
that'd
do.
be good. All right,
Will do.
thanks, Ginger.
Mhm.
Thank you, Chair.
Any more questions for Ginger? Yes, sir.
Ginger, back in early 1900s, we had a lot of land in trust that was auctioned off by the county. And I'd like to know the legality of that, how you would go back and maybe find out something on that.
So you're not talking about our allottees then on our restricted properties, right?
Huh?
You're not talking about our allottees on our restricted properties, are you?
On restricted land.
So it is restricted, not trust, is what you're saying, correct?
I guess.
Okay.
Tax-free.
Individual members?
Individual land that was
Okay, all
allotted.
right. I will be happy next month, or I can bring you some books that we have. It's an education piece of our group that talks all about our, from allotment to current, present day. And that explains everything. I think we can bring those for you.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It's a good educational tool that we hand out at our community meetings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Garvin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ginger, down where the old construction is on the highway, we're gonna build a new casino.
Uh-huh.
Is that going into trust already, or is it still working?
No, sir. We're still working on that property.
Any idea what it's about?
Reason I said.
Not at this time. I don't.
She said.
We're talking months or years?
Hopefully, we can submit it soon.
That's a good deal.
It has not been submitted.
Finally, that Cherokee plans to get put in the trust.
Is there something holding it up?
We're waiting on the environmental on that piece of property.
She's got it done.
But not from you, no. No, we're waiting on CNB.
Very short.
Is it in the works? Yes, sir.
Just wait a little more about that.
Have a conference. I'm way down.
Environmental kind of got him in trouble, so can you work
Oh,
through that?
okay. I'm sorry. Yes, we're waiting on, that land is still in Cherokee Nation Businesses' name. And so as soon as we get the information from them that we need, and we will submit our applications. Once we get the environmental from Cherokee Nation Businesses, then we will insert that into our application and do the workup.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any more questions for Ginger? Yes, sir.
Will that also have mineral rights on it, on the land?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Okay, that will be in the book.
Question.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Some weeks ago, I asked you how we were doing on if we need to put the Hastings Hospital project in trust. Have we done the app and so forth?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, we have.
You're good, Ginger. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any more questions for Ginger? Good report, Ginger.
Thank you.
Thank you. Environmental programs, Tom Elkins.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Tom.
Oh, mercy. You have our report. I just wanted to point out a couple little things. One of the main things, sir? The casino, we didn't do that environmental review. That's CNB doing that, or having it done.
Okay.
I wanted to point out that next month on the 29th, on Friday, is the 5th Environmental Festival that the Cherokee Nation's doing. I know I brought it up before, but I'll make sure Gail gets it on your calendars. If you can make it, we'd sure like to have you out there. We have a lot of kids out there. We have, what's the transit thing? Going from the complex to the Talking Ways Job Corps, so folks can take their breaks or time out or lunch, come up there. We serve lunch, so we'll be having food done by the Job Corps up there. And we have people from state agencies, from other tribes, federal agencies come up with and have presentations and little activities that the kids can do. You know, Smoky Bears everywhere, it seems like anymore, and probably needed the way that we have the fires going. But the kids get a big kick out of it. I get a big kick out of it. I enjoy that. And our folks do too. So if you have time and can make time to get up there, we'd sure like you to come by there.
That's the 29th.
The 29th, yes, sir, on Friday. And it's from 9 to about 3 in the afternoon. But we have activities for everybody, but it's mainly geared around kids. But there's a lot of training things for other people too. It's down at the Job Corps. Yes, ma'am. And if you have any questions about our report, I'll be happy to answer.
Questions for Tom?
All right.
Tom, thank you, sir. Good report. Moving on down to old business, see none. Moving down to new business. Resolution number 16031. Frankie, would you take that, please?
This is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of 5 tracts of day school land in fee. I put that in form of a motion. And Ginger, does this need to go to council tonight?
Yes, please.
And I add that to the motion.
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
Have any questions? Yes,
What's day school? I'm just curious.
Here you go.
Ginger, you wanna-
Not postage.
Educate our
Yeah,
council
educate.
members.
Well, I might need a little bit of help from Mr.
Okay.
Baker, but, if you will recall, Rocky Ford we've talked about Rocky Ford, day school. It was one of 6 day schools that was previously requested to all be put in trust to trust. And, Rocky Ford was the only one that was found to have met, 2 objectives, which was we had land that was adjacent to it, as well as they had purchased the property from Cherokee Nation. The other 5 day schools, they didn't fall into either one of those categories, so they couldn't give us the land trust to trust. However, someone from the VIA had approached me and asked if we would be willing to take it in fee. So I spoke with the administration, and yes, we are willing to take it into fee. And with this resolution, that would place the rest of those other 5 day schools into fee.
Is the park come with it too? That park that's right next to Rocky Ford School?
Oh, that was Rocky Ford. Rocky Ford isn't included in this. This was just one of the 6 days. That was one of the 6 day
It's not Rocky
schools.
Ford, okay.
Rocky Ford, yes, it did. The other 5 day schools is what this is addressing, and we weren't able to get it in trust. Now, we're wanting this, the other 5, which is in several counties, to be placed into trust or from trust to fee.
Yeah, thanks, Ginger.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Chair.
any more questions for Ginger? Thank you, Ms. Ginger.
You might have missed that there. Yeah, all in
Okay,
favor?
all in favor of this motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Moving on down to 032. This is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation to lease tribal trust lands to the Kenwood Rural Water District for a water treatment plant, storage tank, and pump station and well. Put this in form of motion.
Second. Or, I'll make that.
Any
So
questions?
moved. Second.
Motion second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. Moving on down to 16033. David Thornton, would you take this, please?
Yeah, this resolution to authorize Cherokee Nation to lease trust lands to Berger Harbor LLC for the Bureau of Land Management Wild Mustang Program. I'd like to make a motion to affirm.
Second.
A motion and a second. We have any questions?
What land is this? Is it any land? Ginger?
Educate him again, Ginger.
Did you read?
Sorry, what was the question?
What land are we gonna lease to for the wild Mustangs?
It would be the following units, the CLMS or Candy Springs units in Adair County, units 1 north, 1 south, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 14, and 15 for a total of 2,612 acres. And the Kenwood units in Delaware County, units 12, 13, 14, 14A, 14B, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 38A, 39, all for a total of 8,253 acres.
So how many acres total?
8,253 in Delaware County and 2,612 acres in Adair County.
10,000 acres. How much of that is grazing land, you know? Is it quite a bit, or
Half of it at least.
half of it?
Uh-huh.
So at least 4,000 or 5,000 acres.
Mhm.
Yes, Councilman Lay.
David, you think, go ahead, David.
Go ahead.
No, you finish.
Oh, so the wildlife management program for wild horses. What does that pay per day to take care of those? Are we going to staff those, or is that a grant we got to apply? Bruce, do you know anything about the wild
Let's
Mustang
see.
program?
The lessee will be Berger Haggard, as it states on the resolution, and they will be the ones to procure the that portion for their lease. We will be leasing to Berger Haggard.
So we're gonna lease land to Berger Haggard to put wild horses on that land.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'm sure I have more help back here
GB,
and
what-
information from them.
As far as land management goes and wild Mustangs, does that does that beat the ground up, like the nutrients of the grass and all that? Like,
Oh, well, yes, it takes about twice the land to run a cow that does a horse. I mean, vice versa, excuse me. Twice the land on a horse than it does a cow. And so we've looked at the land, both places, what Ginger said, and it'll run about 1,155 head of horses. And the bid opening was last Friday. I think the bid closed April the 29th this year. And we got involved with them. I started checking around, see what other tribes were doing and everything. And we got involved with Chickasaw Nation, talking to them about the stalker program that they had, the KEF stalker program. And they hit a home run the first year. In the last couple of years, they didn't do very good, so they started looking for alternatives, and they've been working for the past 11 years with this horse program, and decided to go with it because it tripled their income, what they had available for the land they had available versus the stalker program versus the horse program. And so they gave me the information on the horse program, and then a guy named Dan Roberts, I've been working with him for the last couple of months on the horse program, and he's given me all the information. He's come up and looked at the land, and it's just waiting on approval from the board here to proceed with it.
was you guys looking into a cattle operation, or?
We have, we don't have the funds to start one. That's the main thing. And this horse program will allow us to make, we'll be giving up about $200,000 in leases that we get from the leasees right now from the previous 5 years. And this land Ginger's talking about, those units at 10,000 plus acres, we'll be able to bring in approximately $1.3 million more in 5-year period.
What is that per year, GB?
Well, the first year, it'll be about $133,000 more. And then,
So it'd be 430, it'd be 333? Because you say,
Yeah.
you say right now it's 200.
we get 2.5% increase every year with this horse program. And we won't stock it full the first year because they bring in about 200 horses a month. We won't have full capacity year 17 until about probably the middle of June or so. We should have the full 1,100 head by then plus. And it's projected by them that 2017 we make 131,000 more. 2018 we make 259,000. Year 19 we make 271,500. Year 20 we make 284,500. In year 21 we make 297 for $1,253,000. That's what we'll make in a 5-year program with that 2.5% raise every year.
Right now, we're making $1 million in a 5-year. We're making $1 million in a 5-year program, and you're saying we're making $1.3 million with this group right here. Okay.
No,
Above that.
it'll be above that.
Above that. Above what we're bringing in right now.
We're bringing in $1 million over 5 years right now. Is that correct? It's
No.
it's 200,000.
Well, I get 600,000 off the lease land. That's what goes for my salary through the land leases. We're only taking about a third of the land that we lease right now out of the leasing program. And so we're still retaining 2/3 of the lease land to the leasees out here to be leased by individuals for the next 5 years. So yes, we are. That's this 131,000. Well, this 1,253,000 is on top of what we will make extra in 5 years.
It's extra, okay.
We make about $3 million in 5 years on the current lease cycle. At the end of it, it's gonna be about $4.5–5 million after, if the horse thing goes through, it'll be on top of that.
Now, these funds are going to the LLC or going to the tribe?
This is what the tribe would make.
This is
would
what
bring
the
in.
tribe would make.
What the figures that he gave you is above, that would be the gain. That would be above what we are currently bringing in for 2016 for natural resources from those leases, from the properties that we are going to use for the horses. That would be above. Like for 2017, it would be 131,000 over what we are bringing in for 2016. And for 2018 would be $259,000 over what we're bringing in for 2016. Using 2016 as a base, just as our base amount.
Okay.
The
That's how
reason
that
it's
is
not as
figured.
much in 2017 is we don't have full capacity horses for approximately 6 months. And then
Now,
after-
what's Burgraff? Where are they getting off this deal?
they get 20%.
They get 20%, which is how much? Just
Tough to say.
It's hard to say. That bid is not secure. I mean, we talk about anywhere from $1.75 to $2.45 a day for the horses. The bid won't be secured until they submit the bid, and that'd be April the 29th before we know what.
how come we don't do this ourselves and provide jobs?
Well, the real reason this year is because I got a hold of it a couple months ago, probably about four or 5 months ago from Chickasha Nation. Whenever they were looking into going back into the stalker program, I was going down there and meet with them because they'd been going through Superior Livestock to do the cattle. And I thought, well, if we don't have the money to get into it, maybe we can get into the stalker program without any cost to us other than the mineral costs. And they had the cattle dropped immensely. If y'all recall, if anybody's dealing with cattle dropped immensely. Their program went south on Chickasha Nation, and the guys who had to deal with them didn't fulfill their commitment. They docked the cattle immensely, so they didn't do near as good. So they was looking at alternatives to get out of that program into something else. They've been looking at the BLM program for a long time, like I say, the past 11 years. So they decided to make contact with them and see what they could do to show them their land and see if their land was suitable for the horses, and so it was. And he told me, you know, they were making $300,000 on the leases off the stocker calves, and then they can make $700,000 off the horses. And so they went that way, and he gave me the information. And so we had the individual come up and look at our land. He was impressed with our grassland, how much grass we had, how much water we had, and trying to keep the land where they join one another. That was the hard thing for us to do, with the pastures join where we could move the horses around from time to time. And so that's pretty well where we're at. The time frame, the land lease comes up this year for 5 years. It again leases out for another 5 years. So we didn't have much of a window to participate in doing anything ourselves. We went with this individual. The range specialist is supposed to come up, view all the land, tell us if the land is compatible for the lease for the horses, and all this has been done by them. And basically,
Hey, GB, I was doing the math on this. $2.45 times 11,055 horses. It's $27,000 per day. If you times that by 361, it's $9.8 million per year. That's just the care for the horse. Now, I know you got to feed and and pay your staff and all that, but has someone done a feasibility study on this, or?
It's 1,100 horses, not 11,000.
It's 1,100 horses.
It's
Yeah,
1,100 horses.
And it's not going to be anywhere near $2.45 a day.
It's more like 210.
these figures here that we're reading off are based on $2.10.
$2.10. That's a great case scenario. Worst case scenario, you're looking at, maybe 2/3 of what we said, but
Well, at that it's 833,000 if it's 1,100 house. If it's 1,100 horses, it's 833,000 per year for the
I like
total.
it.
Close.
Okay.
here or there.
Yeah.
They would incrementally bring them in that first year. Will
Yeah,
not
first
be
year they
full.
bring them in 200 head every month.
Councilor Lay.
And we won't start the program to November, probably December before we receive any horses. And then they'll be at full capacity about June of 17. We'll be at full capacity, have our horses stocked. And then they count them every month, and then pay us each month by the count they acquire out there. And then if the horses die, they reimburse us for the horses to get our count, keep our count full, because they're in return, they're making 20%. They want to make as much as anybody else as we do too. So, yeah, there is a cost to the hay. There is a cost to the deal, but they pay it. They pay that. We're not out personnel to take care of the horses. We're not out to feed.
When's the deadline to vote on this? Do you guys need this done right away, or?
Would like to have it done today if possible, or go to tonight. I think April 29th was when they are submitting their bids for final bid,
Got the resolution in front of you.
the resolution.
I'll probably get some more questions later on that.
You're up.
Yes. What are we actually gonna do with these horses?
The horses are put out there basically to live their life and die. They don't want them to populate. That's the whole purpose of this right now. All the wild horses in the state of Nevada, Montana, and Oregon, and basically that's where 50,000 of them are housed right now. They need about 20,000 horses, what the government can handle out there in those states. So they're looking at alternatives to put these horses somewhere. There's no studs. There's no pregnant mares or anything when these horses come. But when they gather them, they do everything they can to end the growth, and they basically put out there to die. And that's the whole purpose. The whole deal is to bring the program back down to a level where everybody can live with it. And we got our do-gooders out there. And, you know, I know I see some people shaking their heads, but you know, animal rights and people like that are keeping this program alive. And you know, they're going to allow the slaughter of the horses, so they got to find some alternative to put them. So,
Councilman Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I got a lot of my questions answered by Ginger this morning. Thank you, Ginger. Appreciate that. Got a lot more of them answered just now from GB. But I'm hesitant. I hear that you want this to go over tonight, and that's pretty quick on my part, but I'd like to know a little more about it. And I think, GV, would you agree? I think you and I would agree we'd like to see us do this rather than somebody else do it, but I understand your limitations.
well, what I want to reiterate, my decision to move forward on it this time right now is the time frame, the window of time to get her done is come about so fast and so short that my personnel, we don't have any sources to contact these people or find out anything right now. We haven't looked into it. We've taken up with Dan Roberts and tried to enhance this program and get it to the fullest that we can deal with it, and it's worked out real good with us. But you know, in 5 years, the Chickasaw Nation even said, you know, in 5 years they're probably wanting to do this program themselves too. They don't want to go out and do it. They're doing it right now. Their governor, you know, one thing they said, you know, they don't want a government entity dealing with another government entity, so they want a buffer in there, and that's their chief, their governor, you know, saying what he said about the program. And so, I mean, the time frame is what has got us dealing with a broker right now. And you know, she's got to go out, she's got to send out these bids for 17 for the next 5 years sometime, you know, in June and July for the next 5 years, let all these bidders, you know about the land and everything. And so there's a lot of things that has to be done in her office. She's going to be busy if it goes and we're successful with the bid. That's pending y'all's vote. You know, if you vote to allow us to do it, then, you know, the bid will follow through. We may not even be successful. I mean, he may not be successful in the bidding and securing of that bid. There's about 5,000 horses out there is all they're bidding out this year. So if we get that, it'd be 1/5 of the bid across the United States. So that's a lot of horses to gamble on that we're gonna get. And they like everything they see. They really do. But
And Ginger, do you need this to go over, you have to have it go over tonight? Are you bidding next month, leasing next month? Is that your time element?
They will need this resolution in order to include it with their packet on their bid, so that they will know that they have this land to put those horses on. And that's why they will need, that's the urgency in it.
Well, and I mean, I've talked to Mr. Thornton. I think there's about at least four members of this council that have been asking for this program for a long time, I think, and I've been asking for it since I got here, and all of a sudden it's a rush. That kind of sort of concerns me. I'm a pretty conservative fella, so that kind of concerns me.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Moving on, yes.
Yes, you've been down to observe the Chickasaw Nation, correct?
yes,
Okay, now are they some horses off of Creek Nation Turnpike? Are they in the business as well?
yes, those people are running about 4,200 head of horses, and they've been doing it for several years.
So it's really, you go into it for 5 years, 200 a month, and you get reimbursed for that. So what if you go sour the first year? What does the contract look like? Is there an out when you negotiate these agreements?
There's always an out on our business or on our ag leases, yes.
This is a
will
government
be-
to government agreement, correct?
This will be an agricultural lease. No, it
Okay.
will be a government to lessee, as in Burger Haggard lease, is what this will be.
Okay, but actually the main arm is the government. We're bailing them out a little bit of their problems there, correct?
That's the lessee's situation with the BLM is who they're contracting with. It's my
There'll still
understanding.
be a lease that has to be approved by the Bureau of Indian Affairs,
Sure.
just like any regular lease that we have.
So we still have to go bid, don't we, GB? This is not a
We
given yet.
don't have to bid it. That will be Burger Haggard that is bidding.
Okay,
And whatever bid we get it at is what we will put on the business lease.
okay.
The reason on the agriculture lease.
Okay.
The reason we have to have the agriculture lease is because it is trust land.
Okay. Well, I commend you for looking at other ways to bring revenue to the tribe, and we've always diversified very well. I'm kind of in favor of it. I wish we weren't so rushed, but I guess we've asked for it, so here you are back at the table. Sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for. But so what tribes of the 5 tribes are involved in this?
Chicksaw's the only one I know of right now.
And the Creek Nation?
No, the Creek Nation, that's the individual has that.
Oh,
The Creek, I
okay.
thought you were talking about Creek Turnpike up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's an individual.
Yes.
Okay. And so the possibility is by the year's end, how much more revenue would we have? Joel, what'd you say?
By the end of the first year, it'll be right at 130,000. That would just be coming into next year.
And as you maximize, you start
Right.
getting the full,
That's the end of the fiscal year,
Every year we get a
20
2.5%
2017.
increase. Too.
We've got about, 90, 98 leases that we lease out right now, right at 100 leases. This is gonna take, 29 of those leases for the
13
horses.
individuals.
And we're still gonna have, roughly 7,000 or 8,000 acres, left to lease out for our upcoming land. So we're not throwing everything into the, wild horse program, but we're still gonna have our, regular leasing cycle as well for our Cherokee farmers and ranchers.
well, you know our lands as well as anybody. What's the downside of putting the horses on our land?
Oh, there's downsides to everything, but I mean, I would hate to, the only thing that I can think of ever is what you guys have already asked about the impact on what a horse will do, compared to what a cow will do.
Yeah.
But Burger Haggard has to get an independent range specialist to come out here and say exactly how many animals we can run on this ground.
Okay.
We have a rough number right now. We won't have that exact count until after they have a person contracted out of Norman who's a retired district conservationist with the NRCS. He's gonna do the actual count. And he'll go out and inspect the land, tell us how many horses we can run without hurting the land.
Sure.
And that's the number we're gonna go. So
Okay.
the definitive answer on a dollar amount, we couldn't give you until we get that actual amount. But
Okay.
to move forward, I guess, basically, I understand your concerns. I have the same concerns as everyone in here does. So, but as far as the number wise goes, the money wise goes, I don't know how you could go wrong.
So actually, we're just giving you to go ahead to go out there and negotiate this bid. For this party to go negotiate this bid. That's all we're really doing.
Yes, sir.
For right
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes, sir. It
Okay.
is.
What if we're not satisfied with the negotiation when it comes back?
Probably won't move forward with it. I mean, it'd be up to, basically you guys to see what the bid is and see if you accept the bid.
It still has to come back to us.
Okay. I've said my piece.
Councilman Crittenden.
Thank you.
Now, this is going to be Burger Howard's baby, right? It's not going to tie you up,
No.
Add something to your plate, right?
No.
What about the fencing of it?
Fencing, they looked at
It'll be
the
up to them.
fencing, right now it's pretty adequate. Some of it's bad fencing. There will be a few places where we have to go and, put up a little more wire and stuff, but they're pretty well, the pastures we're renting are bigger pastures, bigger lots, you know, where the cows are and a lot of the big leases are, you know, so,
it's
I
not-
mean, the
it's not-
fence are pretty good.
It's not adding to your plate, really.
No.
And y'all probably think I'm sponsored by Bass Pro or something. I don't even hunt very much. But I have to ask this. Can Cherokees gather once this starts and hunt?
On this property?
Yep.
It's trust property.
Yes,
It's trust property,
Yeah.
and yes, the
Yes.
answer is yes.
I mean, because that's what they're going to ask me.
Exactly, yeah, it's gonna have the same, every time we do a lease, it will fall in that same agricultural
Okay.
lease. Cherokees hunt, fish, gather, walk in only.
Walk in.
Now, I guess you could look at it, somebody accidentally shoots a horse, there's one gone, I guess they'll bring us another one to replace it. I mean, you don't wanna look at it. That's the option.
But, you know, there's similar situations where I would just automatically say no because of that.
No,
But-
this is,
but-
it's trust property, therefore, yes, walk in only.
Interesting.
Yes, Mr. Garvin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This outfit we're gonna work with, Burger and Taggart, do they have any competitors or?
Oh, yes, there'll be about, way Dan told me, there'll be about 25 vendors nationwide that will bid on these horses.
I mean, which ones are we gonna work with? Do we have to choose this one? Can we
No, we just,
look at the others?
this is one that contacted me and wanted to look at our land and heard we were interested in
He wants
trying
20%.
Yes,
Can we get someone for 10%?
that I don't know. I haven't looked in
Also,
nobody else.
what about the ones that Cherokees have at least right now and they have to vacate? Won't that hurt a lot of Cherokees?
We have 13 individuals that have
Are they
those
Cherokee?
properties. I'd have to look through the list to see. Some of them are, probably.
Some of them gonna get hurt. They have these cattle out there and no place to put them, and they're counting on releasing them. We might need to think about that. You probably know who's got at least right now.
I'd just like to say one thing on behalf of Natural Resources and me as a director. I've been here since 12 of January, and I'm asked to do a lot in my department. And I want to thank everybody for coming last Tuesday to the Buffalo Complex and everything up there. It was an outstanding turnout from the council and the business leaders of the casinos there, and I had a wonderful time and wonderful day. The rain was pretty heavy and everything, but everybody got to see what we were doing. And I've been striving, trying to find avenues to bring in more revenue to my department, because since I've come in, we've really got involved with the gardening up there at Jay, Oklahoma, increased it from 5 to 10 acres. The buffaloes grow. The program's brand new. It's grown into a program now where it's costing me $30,000 or $40,000 a year to operate. I'm still operating on the flatline budget of 2012. And South Soul Creek Park, David and you all have always come through with enough money to operate and do good things down there. But our park is growing. It's getting really out there exposed, and we're going to have a lot more traffic and a lot more demands for bathroom, better roads, and electricity. And so I am looking for other alternatives, and I'm one that dug this up. I found it. I'll take the blame for it, good or bad. But it certainly will enhance my program a lot. And that's the only thing I want to defend myself on. What I know we're going to take away some land from the individuals out there, but I'm also trying to do something to enhance my program in my department so we can continue to do the services y'all request us to do on the side whenever y'all need some help. We're always ready and attentive and try to get everything done as fast as we can for y'all.
One other question,
Wait a minute.
Burger hired, will they be hiring Cherokee people or Mexicans or what?
Oh,
I think that they would entertain it. When I spoke
About
with
their cattle
Mr.
Yeah.
and feed.
I believe that they would entertain that.
I think we need to put that in the contract, they hire the Cherokee people.
the-
You're up.
I'm up, okay.
The contract has me listed as the individual, as the caretaker for the horses. It is listed and my name's there. And they do pay a portion of the salary or all the salary for somebody to maintain these horses. And my name just got put in there because Dan Roberts and I are acquaintance and working together. And the hay, you know, they buy the hay. Basically, that's all that's fed to the horses. They don't supplement them,
That's
no
one
kids
thing.
or anything like that.
That's one thing I was gonna say, that we're gonna sell hay to those people, right?
Well, if we have the hay to sell,
If we've got
yes.
it to sell.
Yeah,
Buffalo
if
don't
we had
feed
the
it
hay,
all.
we had the hay to sell, yes, we could, yes.
Okay, we still, said had hunting and fishing rights, we still have gathering rights on that property too for people.
Yes, that goes with the hunting and fishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, this revenue it's gonna bring in is gonna go back into your budget, into the resource budget,
Natural
to
resource.
help take care of our buffalo and the other things that's coming up, park.
I would
and
hope
different-
so.
Yes, sir.
different things.
I
That's
don't
what-
see no,
Okay.
I see it funneled right in there.
I knew the buffalo was gonna cost us, but I didn't know exactly how much it was.
It's not
Uh,
They're fixing to have another
I think
litter of
that-
calves here pretty soon, so.
I think the increase of revenue that we'll get off of this property will probably help us in the long run and help our people and help our resources system and help the Cherokee Nation. And I'm surely for it. That's the reason I've been wanting to try to bring this forward. I know back in the day, we was talking about Sequoia Fuels was gonna give us their property. And that was the plan, actually, was to try to make it into a horse production business for the BLM, or Bureau of Land Management, I guess. But, yeah, I've been for this a long time, and I'm still for it. And I think it's going to increase revenue. I think it's gonna help our people in the long run. Now, there may be a few people that have been leasing this land, and of course, they bid out that lease too. But I think in the long run, it's gonna help our people more by the revenue we'll bring in versus the revenue we're bringing in now on that land. Thank you.
Yes, David.
Next question I have is who's paying for the fence? Is that us or is that?
fence?
Photograph? Yeah.
Well, we'll be caretakers of land, same as we are with the leasee right now. I mean,
So taking care of the fences is on our dime?
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is what people are we taking away the land from? You mentioned something about taking away land from people.
13, well, previously,
It's the previous people that was leasing it.
The lessees that are currently leasing it, I
Yeah.
could provide you with a list of those.
there'll be a new lease cycle start year 17 through 21.
So are they gonna be in this bidding process as well, or?
Will these tracts of land be? Oh, no.
So they don't want to renew their lease.
We will be listing the tracts of land. Our next resolution will address that.
But they don't want to renew it, though, is what you're saying.
We won't be adding this property that's on here that we've been discussing, this 10,000 acres, will not be on that list to be bid out. It's a sealed bid. It will not be bid out at this
It's not a
time.
renewal type deal, you have
No.
to bid on it every.
You have to bid on it.
It's
So,
bid, yeah.
So they could have the chance of not getting it. That's why we were waiting, the window is very small, and that's why we'd like to do it now. We don't wanna wait a year and a half from now, whenever, let's say you got a lease, and then us have to come in a year and a half from now and say, okay, we're ready to run these horses out here, so we're gonna take your lease back from you. That's when, right now, you're gonna impact, for 2016, you're gonna impact 2 farmers for 2 months. 2017, we're not going to impact any new lessees. I know in the long run, I know what you're asking, Mr. Walkenstick, that it will affect more than just one. Yes, one or two, yes, it will. But it's a situation where right now we wouldn't affect any person that has a current lease besides two lessees, and that would be for 2 months of this year that we would have to reimburse them their portion, which isn't going to be.
So with the application, this Burgraff, since they've already submitted their application, so do they have us down in their application?
They haven't submitted an application.
When's the deadline? March something?
April the 29th.
April 29th? Okay, and they're wanting our permission to put
Yes,
us
they
in
can't do
there in the
anything without
proposal.
the
Okay.
commitment of Cherokee Nation and council supporting
Here's-
this program.
I don't know a lot about land preservation or horses, but our previous speaker was very knowledgeable on horses and land preservation. And this similar proposal went before us. And her number one concern was that it ruined the land and it robbed the nutrients of the
Look
land.
at the horses we have on them now. We have a lot of horses down there now.
Yeah. So, and her concern was when the 5 years is up and the land's ruined, other cattle farmers that come in and want to lease the land, the nutrients are robbed from the property, and it's not good for cattle, for grazing. That's what I recall from her comments about this proposal. But saying that, it just based off what she said about this, I'm gonna be opposed to this proposal, and I would entertain a motion to table this.
Second motion.
You get a motion and a second to table. No, Any discussion?
No, no discussion on tabling.
Oh, we already tabled?
No.
No, the motion was made, but we have to
Okay.
vote.
Discuss it.
All right. Vote.
All in favor of tabling this? All in favor of tabling it?
Yeah.
If I might add, if it is tabled, then I don't believe we can come back again.
The bid will be
The
closed.
bids will be closed.
Could we go in as
Just as a
a,
reminder, I'm sorry.
but we could go in as a tribe and submit a bid.
No discussion,
Yes.
right?
But no discussion? No, we need to vote. And he already called for yes, and nobody said anything.
You didn't let us finish discussion.
Can you withdraw it for just a minute?
What's that? We still doing discussion?
We're in discussion, you pull the trigger.
You can't discuss after you make a motion to table. You need to make a motion to table and then you vote.
Okay.
So we still
I'll-
need discussion.
okay.
We're already voted.
I will withdraw my motion to table at this time, Chair.
Is that okay
Draw
with
the
you?
motion table. Put the time.
Don, is that okay?
He withdrew his
Okay.
motion to table.
He's got it.
And Secretary, what you got to say?
I am appreciative that the motion was withdrawn. I do think it is time sensitive. I think, I'm not the expert on wild horses certainly, but that's part of the issue is that we need some expertise if we're going to take advantage of something that will bring in some more resources to the nation through this program. And I think that's why the department wanted to seek a third party. It's not something we have the in-house expertise to deal with the federal agency we're talking about here. And I think GV did a lot of homework before we got to this point to visit with this company. He had a meeting, I was present for the meeting, Ginger was present. It was an impressive presentation. But I think it's not something that right now we're able to, as a tribe, to do without some third-party assistance. And so if the council's not prepared to to go forward with a third party. It may be some time before we can develop that expertise. But again, I'm not the expert, but I just understand that it is a window of opportunity here that we're asking the council to let us take advantage of. It's certainly not to the end of time. It's a program that we certainly can see how it goes, but I think the homework that's been done by the department, which has been good, suggests that it'll be good in terms of resources, but we do need that third party with that expertise. And I think that's why we're coming to you now with this company.
Yes, Bruce, you was up.
I just want to say I apologize, Chief Coleman, I had to go down to his office for a little bit, or I've been in on this earlier discussion. I know that right after I went to work here, Dick Lay and I visited about this horse program, and Dick was very interested in it way back when. We have talked about this several times, and they have several of those ranchers up north in Dick's area, Buell's area, Victoria's, that are running these wild horses now. Now, back to Stick's question about conservation, we will have almost 3 acres per one horse. And with this 10,000 acres, we will be allowed to rotate those horses so they won't be on one piece of property all the time. That's why this group comes and checks our land to see how many acres we have and make sure that we can be land conservative. So, with that being said, that's one of the reasons that we have that many acres to handle the horses and rotate them around so they don't, you might say, destroy the land or the grass. So that's all I want to say.
Brittany, Austin.
Brendan, you go first.
Speaker, I think, I'm just wondering if this would be as good as a table. He asked, we're giving you permission to let them bid on it, right?
Yes.
If we would approve it.
Yes, sir.
That's all we're going to do is bid.
But before any action takes place, it has to come back, right?
Right.
Because that was a good point a while ago about these people, and I'd like to visit with, just different concerns that I have. And if I find out later that I want to vote no, I'll have a chance, right? Is that right?
Right.
Right. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
My
Mr.
point
Ward.
addresses the conservation issue, and if you look at this, you've got a controlled group of horses. There's no studs, there's geldings, mares, so you can tell, and like he said, they're gonna be rotating this around. It's not like you're putting them out there and they're gonna populate, okay? They're a controlled group of animals, and they'll be able to keep an eye on that and moving those around. I mean, there's really, if you want to look for scientific proof and evidence, it's not out there. I mean, they're part of the natural ecosystem as it is, before we domesticated them. So, I mean, that's where an issue comes into conservation when you're overpopulating an area. I know what overpopulated looks like. Come down in Sequoia County, I mean, you can see a lot of different areas of what happens, but they're controlled, and GB hit on a really good point to me. We're always looking for grant money, or we're looking for something to help us get a water line down there at South Saw Creek Park and do other things. He's got a way here now. We can put money back into natural resources. And he, like he said, he's willing. He's towing the line right there, and I'll tow it right there with him. So.
Mr. Thornton, you got-
Yes, I hear this about overpopulation areas. Overpopulation areas, those horses works the same with cattle. If you overpopulate with cattle, it's going to do exactly the same thing. Only probably a little worse. But we do have people down in Sequoia County. But we do have people down there that run horses and they run cattle. And they coexist, and they don't have any problems. Another thing that I really want to bring up is this resolution, as far as I know, and I may have forgotten, I've been here 17 years, I've never seen this same resolution come in front of the council. Never had. The speaker that was here, that was talked about, was a cattle person when they were here. I can't really see that much problem with going ahead with this, because you are gonna get another vote, but you do need to come back and think about, you know, you can overpopulate anything. I don't care what it is, whether it's cattle, horses, sure don't want hogs out there. But anyway, I'd like to make a motion to approve this resolution. If I can get a second.
It's already been made.
There's
You got a motion?
I don't know, we got seconds.
There's already a motion and a second. We're in discussion.
Made the first motion, he needs to second it.
Oh, we've already got motion.
Councilman,
I withdraw this.
You got Councilor Lake.
I've had my hand up like 15 times.
And I think Keith and I both had our hands up down
Can we have, I'm gonna do the Ben Carson move down here.
I'll yield to the man on the end.
All right, Councilor Austin.
Currently, what do these leases bring in revenue? Compared to what we're talking about here?
Talking about
gave you
everything on the river. Our entire, everything that the tribe leases out right now, agricultural wise, is 598,000, so right at 600,000.
And is that the same tracts of land we're talking about here? Are we apples to apples?
If we're gonna remove, right now, and I think I might have said 98 or 100 while ago, there's actually, if you want to get technical, 109 leases. So we're going to take 29 of those out of that 690,000. So you will lose that revenue, which will drop it down about $200,000, which will make it 400,000. But with the horses coming in, we will make that 200,000 back plus 130 on the first year. The next year will be another 240, and so on and so forth.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get to, is what gain are we getting? It sounds like
It's about $1.5 million over a course of 5 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman, that was the numbers that Mr. Gulliver gave you. That was the figure, 1.253 for over a period of 5 years gain.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think, Ginger, you had a comment.
There was a comment made that we could come back again and vote on this. This resolution is giving Burger Haggard permission to lease from us. And it's not for them to go, giving them permission to go and bid, and then come back again and then us lease to them. This is to lease to Burger Haggard. This is a one-time deal.
Yeah, and that's
I just
really
wanted to
why I
make
came
sure that
down
was-
here, is I heard that Sean said that you'd have another shot at it. That's not true, and I just want you to know up front that it's not true. What you're doing is giving them permission to go on and bid on X number of horses for X number of acres. If they're successful, then they've assured them that they have the land and they can execute. They can't go and bid without that assurance that they've got 1,000 acres or whatever to go to. So I didn't want anybody to say, oh, well, you said I could have another shot at the apple. And
Hey,
that's
Chief,
not
do
the
they
case.
go back, let's say they bid for 200, they get to 200. Do they have to go back and bid every year for additional horses?
The 5-year contract is what we'll.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, the first year you go bid for 200, you get those?
No.
Oh, you already 5-year agreement? Okay, so once we pass this, then we don't get a second shot?
Your 200 horses is how they're gonna bring them in incrementally.
Okay.
They're gonna be
Every
bringing
month,
them.
1,000 horses or
Yeah.
something.
Right at
They're just
1,100,
gonna come in 200 at a time.
So we go into the year and it's not successful and we're tied for 5 years?
Yes.
That's not a good deal. I like to get out of a deal when it's not good.
How
Well,
are you talking about the lease?
but at the same time, if Joe Blow leases our land and puts horses on it, he's got it for 5 years as well. Now, but these folks are coming out and they're saying, Cherokee Nation, you can't have 2,000 horses because your land won't carry 2,000 horses. They're gonna sit there and scientifically say what our land will carry, and they won't give us any more than what the horses can comfortably eat on and not destroy the land.
The way I remember our leases is that we can take back our leases if it's for economic development for the tribe. Is that still correct?
Yes, there is an out clause.
Well, then
in our
there's an out.
leases. Yes.
You guys aren't giving me the right answer.
We can
I'm
put a
sorry.
termination, there's a clause in there, but if we need to add a clause that the council would like.
Yeah, you weren't giving me the right answer. You're saying, we do this, we're stuck 5 years.
No.
Okay, that's a better answer.
My apologies, that is the better answer. Yes.
Okay, during arbitration, you
answer.
always learn how to escape, exit. Okay? All right.
Mr. Lay.
And thank you, Chief. That's what I was getting ready to make a motion or something that we could get an out if they don't get this lease, or excuse me, if they don't get the horses, do we want to pull that lease back?
If they
Can
don't
you
get the
pull-
horses, we won't get a lease.
Okay, I
Okay.
got you.
All right, that's better.
Yes, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. DB, I heard earlier, you said this lease is in your name. Will you be drawing a check from Bert? Well, I mean, the way you said it,
Okay.
and I just want to clear it up on,
There's a caretaker, they pay,
you said
they pay for a caretaker, like Chickshaw Nation, they pay X amount of dollars. Garrett Pratt, the director down there, same as I am, he's listed as a caretaker down there whenever they forward the bid with. So we wasn't aware who's gonna take care of these horses, but we can hire the personnel. And I think it's $44,000 that they're paying us for somebody to take care of the horses. So my name's just down there right now in the booklet. And
It's a placeholder.
it's just, I'm just, I will not be the caretaker. We'll probably hire somebody to take care of them, and that salary will be paid by the broker. And then the hay also will be supplied by somebody, if not Cherokee Nation, somebody else, and they'll pay for that hay out of their 20%. So the caretaker and the hay will be paid by them with their 20%, not with anything, not with our 80% and being involved. So.
All right.
Okay, everybody finished talking? Mr. Walkensteck,
When's our next council meeting?
It's too late.
April 11th?
And then the deadline's April 19th,
29th.
April 29th.
Within that time period, it's my understanding they must hire a ranch specialist and other
Range
people to go
specialist.
out there.
The range specialists, they like to have him up here as early as next week, if this passed tonight, so we could get this land approved and get the number head of horses that he could put in the bid, and he could get his bid package ready and forward it on to the BLM.
I just need some more research on this. This is kind of brought to us last minute. It's the first I heard about it was today. If we could, and I'm gonna make a motion to table once we get done with discussion. So you can go to her right there. I'm done for now.
We got a motion and a
I'm
second
gonna
to-
make a motion to table when.
We got a
whenever-
motion and a second to
We
vote.
have a motion and a second to vote.
I know, but I'm gonna make a motion to table once we get done with discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make a comment that we've had this material for a week now, and just encourage people to look at the things that are going to be brought before us and address your questions to the appropriate people ahead of time. That's all I have.
I've got one question left. These people that have the lease on the land now, are they open to bid on the lease of the other property that we have?
Oh, yes.
And they can bid on the other property. Matter of fact, they probably make us a little more money if
Well, I
that
think
goes up,
I
right?
think the
Okay.
leases will be higher.
That's all.
Thanks, Bruce.
I was just gonna say, there's only gonna be 5 bidders that's gonna get these horses. Only 5. We may not have to worry about it, but we'd sure like to be involved and be one of those 5 to make this $1.2 million for the next 5 years. 5, that's all they're gonna take. So I'd like to be in that running.
All right, you got a motion and a second. He's withdrawn the table. I think he wants to reconsider the table again. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm gonna make a motion to table, just to get more information on this, Cherokee.
We won't need information. We won't have time, but go ahead. Got a motion to table?
Second the motion.
Got a second?
Motion second to table.
All in favor?
All in favor of the table?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Ayes have it.
Back to original motion.
Now back to the original motion of
Make motion to approve.
David Thornton makes a motion to approve.
It's already there, motion second.
Motion and a second. And then discussion.
We're through. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
One opposed?
All opposed.
One opposed. Motion carries.
We've got one more item.
And moving on down to announcements. Any announcements?
We got one more item.
Oh, that's me. Moving on down to 16034. This is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation to negotiate and/or advertise for bid to lease tribal units on fee for trust land.
Put that in form of a motion.
Second.
For motion second, in discussion? Yes.
I would like for Ginger to explain, is this piggybacked onto what we were just working on, or is this something different?
This is something different. It does not include the units that we were talking about.
Okay, so, can you explain to me?
Sure, this is the regular 5-year ag bidding process. There's 59 units with approximately 7,000 acres in multiple counties, Adair, Cherokee, Delaware, Mays, Muskogee, Craig, and Sequoia counties. And we have their bids will be completed December 31st, or I'm sorry, their leases will be completed December 31st for this cycle. Well, we put those up for bid in April of this year for them, and they'll have until January 1 was when their lease will begin. And that's for the regular leases, 5-year leases.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any more questions? We have a bid. We have a motion and a second.
Yes, all in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye. Ginger?
All opposed? Ayes have it. Yes, Ginger?
Can we get these put on the agenda for tonight as well as the previous one, the previous resolution? I don't think that was mentioned, and we need it on tonight's agenda.
And I'll second it.
Got a second by
We got that in the form of a motion and a second.
Councilor Baker.
In discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion
Did
carries.
that cover both?
And that goes to,
So, council. Now you got announcements.
moving on down to announcements. We have any announcements? Chief, got any announcements today? No?
Council meeting tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Okay, our next meeting will be held Monday, April 11th at 4 o'clock. Motion adjourned. All in favor? All opposed?
You did good. Yeah, make one out of your